So a lot of people have been asking me what lenses do I usually use when I'm filming content with my Fujifilm camera. Because gear comes in and out, I don't have any of these lenses anymore, the ones that I'm going to mention in this video, but rest assured that these lenses have my stamp of approval when it comes to filming on a Fujifilm camera. And since I am a content creator slash YouTuber, I'm just going to attack it from that angle and what's my use cases and what I need it for. I'm not like a videographer or a cinematographer. However, I did try many of these lenses for the Fujifilm X mount, and I like to believe I know what lenses look good and what is reliable. Today, I'm going to share with you guys some of these lenses that I would recommend for video. So let's get going. Now, starting off with the talking head lens, I tried many other lenses before, but the one I actually stuck with the most when I film talking head videos like I am right now, I'm using the Fujifilm X20, and the lens is the Viltrox 13mm f1.4. The reason why I use this is for the 16.7mm filter thread, because there are adapters that fits into my teleprompter. Because if you notice anything about Fujifilm cameras and Fujifilm lenses, is sometimes the lenses, the filter thread size are a little bit too small, and then when you try to use that ring adapter onto the teleprompter, it doesn't look right. It's imbalanced. So I find that the 67mm filter thread size, average size for it to fit normally without any proper imbalances or anything looking wobbly or shaky. Another reason that I use the Viltrox 13mm is for its wide aperture. It's at an f1.4, so it gathers in a lot of light. So if you ever need to film in low light situation, this is the lens to get. Lens also has a good close focusing distance, so this is good for you if you want to show products. So because I'm a YouTuber, because I showcase a lot of product in my hands, this is where I like to have something with a close focusing distance just for this particular thing right here. And then you bring it back and it's back to me. I also like the way the lens autofocus. It's a slow rack focus and it makes the video feel natural. I find whenever I use like a Fujifilm native lens, they aren't really optimized for video shooters. Whereas people want like, nice smooth rack focus with nice transition. Whenever I use like Fujifilm lenses, they are quick to focus, like super quick, but it's jarring because of the way it just jitters. So it doesn't have a smooth transition. It just like latches it and then it just like pulsates a little bit and then it comes back to you. So that's the reason why I chose the Viltrox lens, because I tried like the f2 lenses. I actually tried the old 16mm f1.4, the XF 16mm f1.4. And again, that one has that weird autofocusing issues that Fujifilm tends to have with their lenses. They're not equipped for video shooters. At 13mm is wide enough for a talking head video, and I'm also shooting in open gate. So if it ever feels too wide, I can just adjust it in post and zoom in and frame it accordingly. Let's move on to lenses that I use for B-roll. And for that, I film everything. I go outside, I film detail shots, I film inside. So the environment is always changing. That's when I use something like a standard zoom lens. The Fujifilm XF 16 to 55mm f2.8 is really good. I've used that lens for some of my earlier YouTube videos. But the only issue is it's more expensive than the other lenses that I'm going to mention. It does the same thing. It is a standard zoom lens, so it's at like the 16 to 55 standard focal length. If you're someone that is a bit price conscious, here are some alternatives that I've used for filming videos in the past that I highly recommend you guys check out. There's the Tamron 17 to 70mm f2.8. Now this lens is huge, but it's great because it has, that extra 15mm reach, and that could drastically change the way your video looks. Let's just say if from the 55mm, which you get from the XF 16 to 55 to 70, so which is what you get from the Tamron, the 17 to 70. That extra reach means more compression and it makes your footage look different and more cinematic, and the image quality out of the Tamron is just spectacular. During the time that I was using it, I really had no complaints filming B-roll. In 4K 60, I actually like using that lens a lot. It did everything that I wanted to. It was wide enough, and that extra reach was actually really that extra reach was very appreciated by me. And mind you, while that lens is big, the weight actually helps with filming B-roll if you're gonna do any static handheld shots with it. There's also another standard zoom lens that I enjoy using, and that's more for like the run and gun and the like, the solo travelers and all that, for the people that want to keep their setup light. And I'm talking about the Sigma 18 to 50 millimeter f2.8. This is another standard zoom lens that I would recommend. Now, you are sacrificing a little bit of length and a little bit of width as well, but what you get is a smaller footprint. It doesn't take up much space in your bag, and it won't wear you down during your travels. Now, the f2.8 is fast enough. Combined with the long end, you're going to get some good background separation, some bokeh ball, some blur if you want. So if you ever want a run and gun setup with your Fujifilm camera and something that can do a little bit of everything, you should check out this lens as well. It's freaking sharp. The image looks great. And, you can always rely on the Sigma brand, and this one is no exception. And another lens that you guys should check out for video is the XF 18 to 120 millimeter f4 PZ power zoom lens for the Fujifilm X mount. Now, this lens is made for video shooters with its power zoom. That means that when you zoom, like the lens barrel don't actually stick out. It actually internally zoom. Now, this is good because if you're ever using a gimbal, you don't have to rebalance the gimbal. And I actually like the image quality I got out of this lens, especially for video. However, it is at f4, and this might scare some people away who may not want something a bit faster for their, run and gun setups or whatever it is. But during my time with it, I don't have much problem with it being like a video lens. I was actually surprised by it. There were times where I thought I needed something faster, but I find myself accepting the limitations of it being an f4 lens. But the video footage that I got out of it looked great. And this lens probably doesn't get a lot of love because of its probably f4. And I think it's priced a little bit higher than something like the Tamron 17 to 70 millimeter f2.8, if I'm not mistaken. That being said, at the time that I had with this lens, I really enjoyed the footages that I captured. What about prime lens, dude? Are there any prime lens that I do find good for video? Now, if you guys are interested in shooting, like, filming content with a prime lens, then I recommend you guys checking out the Air series lenses from Viltrox. They actually have the 15 millimeter f1.7, the 25 millimeter f1.7, the 33 or the 35 millimeter f1.7, and the 56 millimeter f1.7. I find all that to be fantastic lenses at an affordable price. You can basically buy out the entire focal length for one standard zoom lens, or maybe a little bit less. So instead of buying the Tamron, you can actually buy all four of these lenses, which is crazy. Now, I use all these lenses for photo and a little bit for video. All I did was just video testings on it, and I find them to be better than the f2 Fujicron lenses when it comes to like autofocus. The way the f2 lenses autofocus does not look good for video. That's where I find the Viltrox Air series come in, and they perform a little bit better because I find that the Viltrox Air series lenses to have a natural looking rack focus. It just looks a little bit smoother for me. Now, here are some honorable mentions that I've used in the past, and I was really surprised by it. Although I wouldn't use it that much because it's not as versatile in my opinion. The XF 90 millimeter f2, it gives you like a crazy look, but I don't know when I would use it because again, it's really, really tight, but again, super cinematic. So you just have to be far to use this. But when you do, the images look incredible. It looks so freaking good. Again, not versatile. Then there's also the XF 56 millimeter f1.2. Filming at f1.2 is fun. It poses a challenge, but it works well in low light. And I also like how my footage looks with this lens. But again, you do have to step further back when you're using this lens. Now, I also tried the Fujifilm XF 23 millimeter f1.4 WRLM for video, and I do like how my footage looked coming from that lens. And I honestly love that lens for photography, but the reason why I don't use this lens often for video is because I would require a lot of step-up rings to film, and that's not practical for me. because I do have like a 67 millimeter variable ND filters. And in order to get the proper motion blur and stuff like that, you need to do the 180-degree shutter angle rule. And the filter thread size on this lens is 58 millimeters. I don't like stepping up so much. There's a lot of hassle sometimes. Sometimes the step up ring is like hard to twist out, and sometimes, yeah, it's just super super annoying. If any of you guys ever own stepper rings, you guys know what I'm talking about. If you're someone who can do that, then I think this lens could be great. It's at a good focal length. You can still get close to get some background separation, and the image quality from this lens is fantastic. And then there's also other cinema lenses that I've tried for the Fujifilm X mount that I should mention here because I did enjoy using it as well. Now, if you are into the Sirui Nightwalker lenses, I think these lenses are great. They're all f1.2, so they're really good in low light situations. However, it is a manual focus lens, so you do have to pull focus. Now, Sirui also makes anamorphic lenses for the Fujifilm X mount as well. With some cameras like the XH2S and the XS20, you can use the open gate feature with the lens and get more out of that lens. And obviously, there are more cinema lenses coming from like Laowa and Seven Artisans and all that stuff. So I haven't tried all of them, so you might have to do more research on those lenses because I might not have information on. Alrighty, folks, these are some of the lenses that I've tried for video for the Fujifilm X mount. If you guys are interested in any of these lenses, I'll leave the links down in the description below. And if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing for more Fujifilm content and let me know what are some lenses that you are using for your video needs on your Fujifilm camera. Let me know down in the comment section below. And that is it for me, guys. Thanks.